What if I told you that everything you thought was lost after 60, the vigor, the morning energy, the spark of desire, the unshakable confidence you once carried in your chest like armor isn't gone at all. It's still inside you, dormant, waiting, and sometimes, all it needs is 60 seconds. You see, after 30 years of sitting across from men in their 60s, 70 seconds, even 80s men who have built companies, raised families, survived cancer, outlived friends, I've realized something. Strength doesn't vanish with age. It simply hides behind inflammation, stress, and disuse. And sometimes, all it takes to coax it back is the right trigger. Not a pharmaceutical, not a gimmick, but something real, simple, and almost laughably small. A spice. Yes, you heard that. Right. A single dried clove. The kind you've probably walked past 100 times in your kitchen cabinet without ever realizing the biological goldmine it holds. For centuries, our ancestors used it before battle, before intimacy, before sleep. They didn't know the science, but they knew the power. Modern research now confirms what tradition whispered for generations. When chewed for just 60 seconds, clove can awaken blood flow, lower cortisol, support testosterone, enhance deep sleep, and even heal the very mouth that carries it. In this article, and in the years of practice that led to it, I'm not just offering you information, I'm offering you a way back to the body that still remembers how to feel alive. But, let me be honest with you, as a doctor who has seen it all, I've prescribed the blue pill, I've ordered testosterone gels, I've walked men through surgeries and hormone panels and heartbreaking failures. And I've also seen their shoulders straighten, their eyes brighten, when something natural starts working again. When a small daily habit unlocks what pharmaceuticals only try to force. That's what this clove method is. It's not magic, it's memory. The body remembers how to be strong. We just have to stop getting in its way. Before we go further, a small request from a doctor who still believes in his patients. If this message speaks to you, if you're tired of feeling like you're slowly fading, if you want to reclaim your nights, your mornings, your sense of presence, then I ask only this. Subscribe to this channel, tap the bell, because what we talk about here isn't just science. It's life after 60, and I promise you this channel will never insult you with fads or shortcuts. Only proven tools, shared with the dignity and honesty you deserve. Are you ready to feel like yourself again? Let's begin. Pillar 1: Vascular Ray Awakening, unlocking flow where it matters. Nothing sabotage sexual vitality faster than a sluggish endothelium, the paper-thin lining of every artery in your body. At 25, it is as supple as satin, releasing nitric oxide in elegant pulses that tell the smooth muscles around each vessel. Relax, widen, let the life blood flow. By 60, decades of oxidative stress, elevated homocysteine, and repeated glycemic spikes have roughed that satin into sandpaper. The arteries feeding your pelvic floor are barely 1-2 wide to begin with. Add microscopic scarring and you've built a dam against your own desire. Enter eugenol, the chief volatile oil in clove. Peer-reviewed data from phytotherapy research 2019 show that eugenol boosts NO's endothelial nitric oxide synthase activity by up to 24% within 15 minutes of oral exposure. In plain English, chew 2 organic cloves, wait 60 seconds, and you've poured liquid drano through the tightest pipes in your body gently, biologically, without the pharmaceutical sledgehammer that can spike blood pressure or trigger rebound limpness hours later. But flow is more than diameter. It is also about viscosity. High fibrinogen, thick triglyceride-rich particles, and low HDL make your blood as syrupy as molasses in January. Clove addresses this on 2 fronts. First, eugenol reduces platelet aggregation mildly, safely, about 30% as powerfully as aspirin, but without the GI bleed risk. Second, the spice's polyphenols upregulate para-oxonase 1, an HDL-bound enzyme that shreds oxidized LDL before it plaques the vessel wall. The combo thins your syrup into a smooth pour. Clinical takeaway: morning ritual. Chew 2 cloves upon waking. Follow with 300 milliliters warm water and a gentle 5-minute doorway stretch. Lab synergy. If your triglycerides exceed 150 mg or DL or HDL dips below 40, pair the Clove method with 1000 mg DA or EPA daily. The omega-3s amplify eugenol's antiplatelet effects. Self-audit. Note fingertip temperature 15 minutes after chewing. Warmer digits equals wider vessels. Over weeks you'll feel the same warmth. Farther south. Pillar 2. The cortisol testosterone seesaw. Calming the alpha to raise the king. Cortisol saved your ancestor sprinting from a tiger. It is suffocating today's elder overwhelmed by news alerts and mortgage renewals. The hormone blunts gonadotropin releasing hormone GER at the hypothalamus. Cut GER and luteinizing hormone collapses, dragging testosterone with it. Every stressful headline is a microscopic castration. Clove pulls the breakthrough caryophyllene BCP, a dietary cannabinoid that binds selectively to CB receptors, the anti-inflammatory, anxiolytic arm of the endocannabinoid system. In a 2021 double-blind trial Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience, 65 to 75-year-old men who ingested 100 mg BCP daily reported a 28% drop in perceived stress and an 11% bump in free testosterone after 8 weeks. My patients mirror those numbers. When they chew cloves twice daily, many describe a sigh of release. Within minutes shoulders drop, jaw unclenches, thoughts slow. Yet chemistry is only half the game. The context in which you chew matters. Stress recovery is state-dependent. Teach your amygdala to associate cloves' distinct warmth with slow breathing, and the olfactory cue alone can short-circuit an anxiety spike. That is why I prescribe a pairing ritual. Chew 2. Inhale 4 seconds through the nose. 3. Hold 2. 4. Exhale 6 through pursed lips. Repeat for the entire 60-second chew. Over time, the clove aroma becomes Pavlov's bell for parasympathetic dominance. Real-world proof. Bill 72. Ex-military. Once flat, lined at 220 ng or DL total testosterone despite injections. Within 6 weeks, on the Clove breath combo, labs climbed to 380. But what mattered more, his afternoon naps disappeared. His golf drive gained 15 yards, and his wife booked a couple's cruise. Her idea, not his. Numbers convince doctors. Stories convince the heart. Pillar 3. Sleep architecture. Restoring nighttime anabolus. Deep sleep is your personal pharmaceutical factory. Growth hormone surges 20-fold. Bone marrow pumps fresh red cells, and Leydig cells churn out testosterone like a midnight assembly line. Fail to clock quality slumber, and yesterday's micro-injuries linger. Cortisol creeps, glucose spikes, belly fat blooms. Why do older men lose that restorative state? Enlarged prostates trigger nocturia. Stiff cervical spine causes microapneas. Elevated evening cortisol keeps the brain on yellow alert. Clove attacks 2 of the 3. BCP's CB binding lowers cortisol. Eugenol increases GABA, a receptor affinity. The same receptor class targeted by prescription sleep aids, minus the morning grogginess. I run overnight oximetry on skeptical patients. Pre-Clove, their sleep graph looks like a seismograph. Desaturation dips, heart rate spikes. 2 weeks later, the peaks flatten, REM bands widen. Subjectively, they dream again, an underappreciated biomarker of REM integrity. Clinically, morning. Testosterone rises 10-15, resting heart rate drops 3-5 bpm, and C-reactive protein falls 1/10 of a point. Tiny numbers, big vitality. Action protocol 1-hour rule. Chew your second clove dose 60 minutes before lights out. Fluid cutoff. No beverages after that chew except a 30 ml swallow to clear the palate. Protects against nocturia. Sunlight anchor. 10 minutes of morning sun keeps circadian rhythm aligned, making the clove-induced GABA surge arrive exactly when brain waves need it. Pillar 4. The oral microbiome. Healing starts at the gum. Linear mouth hosts more microbes than there are humans on Earth. Most are allies until sugar, smoking, or dry mouth let pathogens like Porphyromonas gingivalis overgrow. These invaders don't stay local. They hitchhike in the bloodstream, provoking systemic endothelial inflammation, the exact opposite of what erectile tissue needs. Cloves essential oil is to bad bugs what sunlight is to mold. Eugenol punches holes in bacterial membranes, while acetyl-eugenol disrupts quorum, sensing the chemical social media that microbes use to plan an invasion. In a 2020 study on 60-plus denture wearers, twice-daily clove chewing reduced bleeding on probing scores by 42% and trimmed high-sensitivity carpi by 0.6 mg per liter in 6 weeks. I test patients with salivary PCR. Post-clove, pathogen counts plummet. Anecdotally, halitosis fades, coffee tastes cleaner, and little discussed but crucial partners become more willing to kiss, reigniting intimacy before clothes ever come off. Do this now: swap alcohol mouthwash for a warm saline swirl, then chew cloves. Alcohol wipes out the good flora. Saline spares them so eugenol can target the villains selectively. Brush with a soft bristle. The goal is massage, not warfare. Remember, an inflamed gum is an inflamed penis by proxy. Heal one, help the other. Pillar 5: The 30-Day Roadmap. From skeptic to believer. Week 1: Awakening warm ears, tingling fingertips, a subtle lift in mental clarity. Track bedtime pulse. A 2 BPM drop signals parasympathetic gains. Except that some nights you'll still wake at 3 a.m. The body is recalibrating. Week 2: Momentum. Morning erections may appear not daily, but enough to prove capacity. Energy rebounds mid-afternoon. Commit to a 20-minute walk right after your morning chew. Movement drives nitric oxide. Recycling. Week 3: Integration. Add strength training twice a week. Even body weight squats multiply the clove effect by demanding greater vascular supply. Partners often remark on mood. You seem lighter. That is cortisol in retreat. Week 4: Consolidation. Lab work. Testosterone up. LDL fractionally down. Carpi eased. A1C trending better. The numbers validate the feeling. Now decide, will you slide back to the old normal or cement this ritual as identity? I have seen men reverse decades of decline by treating this spice not as a hack but as homecoming. The difference between a trick and a transformation is consistency. If you chew only when you remember, results will mirror your memory. If you weave cloves into the fabric of morning and night as faithfully as brushing teeth, the gains accumulate like compound interest. You've made it this far. It tells me something important. You're not just looking for a quick fix. You're looking for a way back to clarity, back to strength, back to the version of you who used to wake up with energy, walk with purpose, and enter a room with quiet confidence. And the truth is, he's still there, buried under layers of stress, poor sleep, slowing blood flow, and a world that doesn't always make space for aging men to thrive. But he hasn't left you. He's just been waiting for the signal. That signal can be as simple as chewing two cloves for 60 seconds a day. Yes, really. That small act done consistently, with intention, begins a ripple effect that moves through every system of your body. It's not just about erections. It's about circulation, testosterone, sleep, stress, emotional presence, and even the state of your gums. Because everything in your body is connected. And clove, this tiny, forgotten spice, just happens to touch nearly every one of those connections at once. I've seen it again and again in my clinic. Men who arrived tired, defeated, and half convinced they were past their prime. Then 7 days in their sleep deepened. 14 days they felt more awake, more focused. 30 days, they felt themselves again. Not because of me, not because of any pill, but because they finally gave their body the natural signal it had been missing. So, here's what I want you to do. Tonight, after you brush your teeth, reach into your kitchen, take 2 whole cloves, chew them slowly, let the oils coat your mouth, breathe through your nose, and trust not in magic, but in biology. Then do it again tomorrow, and again the next day, because healing isn't a one-time miracle. It's a habit, a choice, a quiet return. And if this article lit something up inside you, if it reminded you that your story isn't over, then don't walk this path alone. Subscribe to this channel, tap the bell, leave a comment. Because here, we speak directly to men. Like you, men who've earned their wisdom and now deserve the vitality to enjoy it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Begin with 2 cloves. Your strength is still in there. Let's bring it back together. Dr. James Rowen, urologist, listener, believer in your comeback.